Yes, but we are here and we're gonna move forward. Let me start my music back. Okay. Alrighty. So good morning, everybody. As you see, I am Coach Devonna Boone, and I have with me today the cleansing coach. Okay, Miss Natasha Lancaster. And I'm so
Yeah.
excited about today. Welcome, love.
Thank you, Sugarfoot.
Yeah. So I like to give an introduction because people always be like, well, how do y'all know each other? So me and Natasha was in school from what elementary until middle school
Yeah.
together.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a little background history, and just recently, within like the past 2 years, we kind of like reconnected via social media. And last, what was it last year? It was just this year, right? In
This year.
March. Was it
Mm-hmm.
March? We linked up together. She has a platform. I'm gonna let her give her little spiel, but she has a platform called Brown Beauties LLC, and that's her
Mm-hmm.
business, and also on social media. And so she does Wisdom Wednesdays, right?
Right.
Okay. So we were together for Women's History Month, and we did like a little segment about women's history, and we talked about a few things. So I just want to recap that so people are kind of aware of like our background and like what we about. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that y'all can go follow her page if you have not done so. Also follow my page, but on her page the videos of the content that we actually discuss is on there. So if you guys want to go back and catch the replays of those videos, they're up there for your watching. Okay. So
Yeah.
I wrote down some notes because I was like, I need to, write down, and anybody who follows me, y'all know I'm about the note taking. Okay. So like I got a few papers over here.
That's all right, girl.
Rambling.
Read your paper.
Yes. So again, it was Wisdom Wednesdays, and we were basically highlighting Women's History Month. And the first thing we talked about was like sisterhood, togetherness, partnership, connection versus competition. And that's one thing that I love about Natasha, because with this right here, I called her and I was like, well, I got an idea. Since we were together for Women's History, let's get together and, display like domestic violence awareness and talk about, what we're gonna talk about today. And she was like, okay, like, like, well, let me think about it. Let me check my schedule. She was like, we're gonna do it.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
So, and then I was like, okay, well, I'll make the flyer. And she was like, okay, well, I'll create the outline. And then we got together, went over the outline, we added stuff, we took stuff out. Like, that's what partnership and connection is all about. Okay. And sisterhood and working together. So that's
Amen.
yes, so that's what we about, okay? That's what we like to
Mm.
spread. And of course, you can't just talk about it, you got to be about it, right?
Gotta
So,
be about it.
yes, ma'am. Then we also talked about knowing your worth, setting boundaries, avoiding trauma bonds, and also reclaiming um hidden gifts or revealing your hidden gifts, right?
Yes.
Then we also talked about leadership and how humility is the recipe for great leadership, and personal leadership actually flows into your professional leadership. So if you all kinds of jacked up and unorganized and all over the place in your personal life, more than likely you're going to be the same way in your professional as well. Okay. Then we ended it on barking and biting. Okay. And we talked about effective communication, approach, tone, and delivery matters. Okay. And so that's where we left off. And that's kind of where we're going to pick back up today, right?
That's right.
Definitely, right? Because the topic for today, Soul Work Saturday, is domestic violence awareness and the toxic residue that it leaves behind, right?
Mhm.
So, barking and biting, here we go with the follow up. Okay, that is, see, God is working. All right.
I see the
Yes,
excitement.
yes, God is working. Okay, so I love that. So I gave you guys a little backdrop of what we all about, what we've been discussing, in our little connection time, our partnership time. So now I'm going to give the floor to the cleansing coach, and I'm going to let her explain to you all like who she is, what she do, and her businesses,
Mhm.
all of them.
Okay, thank you for
Okay.
that because I will forget.
Humble people, you got to tell them, like, tell the people what you got now.
It's true, y'all. I do forget, and I don't mark it myself. So there we go. Flaw number one of the day. Um, so I am Natasha Lancaster. I am an official therapist. I do outpatient. So between my therapy, outpatient, I'm also now a school counselor in an alternative school, which is, I told Devonna the story yesterday. God will make a way. Okay. Um, I, with Brown Beauties, I have a self-care bar. It has a ton of items, organic soaps, body washes, waist beads, chakra teas are like my number one seller. So if you're into balancing your chakras at all, go to the website, brownbeauties.org, and look at the self-care bar and get you some chakra teas. It will explain what it balances and the whole nine. So there is that. Oh, and my tassel me earrings. Y'all will see me wear my tassels. One, I feel like energies are in color. Colors hold energy. A lot of things hold energy, including that candle Miss Devonna had lit last night. But we're not gonna talk about that. But yes, colors hold energy. And if you are trying to exude and embody a certain energy, or if you just want to be cute, go get some tassel me. Go.
They are beautiful. I love them. I just told her y'all she need to send me the link, like, because I want a couple pair.
Here we go. I'm gonna send you the link, girl. Or if you have some special requests, if you want a specific color, just tell me and I got you.
All right. So y'all make sure y'all follow her page. Tell them where to follow you.
Oh Lord, on Instagram, it's brown beauties underscore beauties underscore LLC. And then for tassel me, it's literally tassel me earrings. All together, no spaces.
All righty. Awesome. I love it. I love it. Okay. And for those of you who follow me, who don't follow me, here we go. I'm Devonna Boone, Coach Devonna Boone. I hold plenty of titles that I just call myself servant. I am life coach, founder, author, motivational speaker. Yeah, just call me servant. I'm here to serve and do what thus says the Lord. All right. I'm churchy, but for those of you that know me, I am not perfect. I don't try to portray to be. However, I'm just me, and that's just what it is. I love God, so the churchiness is gonna come out anyway. Okay. But yeah, so people call me the detox coach. Brian Illa is so too funny. He laughing and sending little but I am the detox coach, and I am here to help women avoid and heal from toxic relationships or situations, and empower them to reclaim their power back and to ultimately end the cycle of toxicity or the cycle of domestic violence, right? Or whatever your toxic is, right? We want to end that and move forward. So basically today, Soul Work Saturday, I like to do this every once in a while, but I like to talk about things that provoke healing, right? So the things that we may talk about today may be a little triggering. However, the goal is not to trigger you back into a dark space or dark hole, or just like, the goal is to trigger, to provoke awareness, to move forward into healing, right? Because as the flyer says that I posted, you cannot heal from what you don't expose, right? So what you don't know, you can't heal. So that's why the quote says, when you know better, you do better. So the same thing, like if you don't know, how do you know what to fix? You can't fix the problem unless you know what that problem is. So today we're here to just provoke awareness so we can move forward into healing. Okay. So we're going to just move right on along because it's already 9:15 and I don't want to hold the cleansing coach today because it is Saturday and, we all work and, so we want to just get on in and get on out. Okay. So we're going to start by sharing our personal experiences, right? So one term that I always like to expose to people or make them aware of is childhood domestic violence, right? Because a lot of people do not even understand that a child who is in a toxic or domestic violence environment, they develop some of the same side effects as the parent who's going through it physically. Like, so childhood domestic violence is basically when a child witnesses their parents or guardian in an abusive situation or relationships by her or his intimate partner. Okay. And behavior symptoms that are left behind for this is may think that violence, the child may grow up thinking that violence is an acceptable behavior of intimate relationships and become either the victim or the abuser. We talked about this yesterday because we had a little, yeah, we had a whole
It was a good powwow, okay?
recorded that too. Look, I edited some of the stuff out because we can talk, y'all. But yeah, so behavioral symptoms from the childhood domestic violence is a child growing up thinking that violence is acceptable for intimate relationships and
Yeah.
ultimately may become either the victim or the abuser. Okay. And from my research, 15.5 million children between the ages of 3 to 17 are exposed to adult domestic violence each year. Each year. I'm gonna say that again because that's a big number.
It's a huge number.
15.5 million children ages 3 to 17 are exposed to adult domestic violence each year.
It's
That's
crazy.
That's a lot. And these children are growing up with these side effects that no one is aware of. And then when they start acting out, we want to diagnose them with something else that we never even treated the root cause for, right? So we'll
Right.
get into that a little bit deeper. I just want to give y'all a little foundation so you know, like the knowledge base of what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Also, I want to give you a little facts about domestic violence, right? So, on average, 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner in the US
Per minute.
per minute. And we've already been talking 18 minutes right now. So, 20 people per minute, okay,
Mm-mm.
are physically abused in an intimate partner by an intimate partner in the US. So in 1 year, that equates to 10 million men and women, not just women, but
Right.
men and women. Okay.
Right.
Because some people think that this is only a woman thing, only a woman gets abused. But no, as we said, the childhood domestic violence causes a person to become the victim or the abuser, right? So women do this thing too. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 1 in 4 women and also 1 in 7 men who experience severe intimate partner physical, sexual, or and emotional abuse in their lifetime. That's
Mm-hmm.
These numbers are huge, y'all. This
Yeah.
is Soul Work Saturday, domestic violence awareness, and we're giving you all facts and statistics about what this thing really is. Domestic violence is here, it is real, and it comes in all shapes, forms, colors, personalities, all that. Okay.
Mhm.
So we here to expose some stuff, to provoke awareness and
Right.
moving forward into healing. Okay. So now we're going to go into our stories, right? And I'm going to let the
Mhm.
cleansing coach go ahead and start us off. And again, as I said, this stuff may be triggering. However, we're not trying to trigger you all into a dark space, but trying to trigger you into provoking awareness. Okay. So if anything we say is too much on today, or if you feel as though you are in need of help that we cannot help you with, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is on the screen. Hopefully, you guys can see that, but
You
it's
can see it.
800-799-7233. That number is available 24/7, 365 days. So, if you are in need, if you need help, if you need resources, please call that number. Okay.
Mhm.
Love, you have the floor.
All right, y'all. We're gonna dive straight in
Yes.
because, as people say, we're gonna rip the band-aid off.
Yeah. Just.
Um, I know Devonna already said this, that there is a trigger warning. So when we're sharing our stories, if it gets to be too much,
Mhm,
you take your break.
mhm.
If you don't need to come back right now, don't come back right now. We recording and we reposting, and you can look at it
Restoration.
later when
Yes.
you are healed enough
Mhm,
to kind of hash out some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hash it out with a support system, your sister, your cousin, your mama, your therapist, your
Yes.
life coach,
Yes.
somebody. Don't do it by yourself. But anywho, without further ado, um, I think it is very clear that the segment that the way that we're going is we obviously both experienced some childhood domestic violence, right? Um, with my story, I it was my bio father who was the abuser. Um, and it goes way back to me being like 2. I'm pretty sure it started before then, but that's what I can remember. It was like I was 2, I wasn't even in school yet, I was in daycare. But I remember things like, you remember those thick glass ashtrays that they used to have back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
I
The
remember
glass, yeah.
the thick ones, and it was brown.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this being used as a weapon and like sometimes thrown across the room. Literally, my mom would be punched or she would be drugged. Um, but the glass ashtray sticks out to me because there was this one time where my mom fought back,
Mm.
and this glass ashtray taught him to sit his ass down. Okay, don't touch me no more.
Yeah.
Could he have died? Absolutely. He actually still has the scar in the back of his head because of where she hit him.
Wow.
But what is a vivid memory of mine is they're arguing, she fights back, and he's laying in the bathroom on the floor, calling my name.
Mm.
Baby girl, come here. It was like he thought he was gonna die. But as I'm walking into this bathroom, blood is everywhere.
Mm.
Um, and at 2, 3, however old I was,
Yes.
don't know what to do with that. Sometimes I feel like over the years I realized that I was either hypersensitive to certain things like blood.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we women, so we deal with that once a month. So it's like, hey girl, you got to deal with this. It's little stuff though that you kind of pick up on if you're aware enough
Yes.
as you grow old. I know we're not getting into how it's manifested, but
Mm-hmm.
that is one of the vivid memories that stand out to me. Probably the most important, like second part of my memory is I witnessed him abusing multiple of his wives. Like
Mm-hmm.
he was married 3 other times, and I saw all 3.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and luckily, I said this to you yesterday, he had women that did protect the children.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, I don't think he would abuse the children because he was abused himself.
Yeah.
So his way of coping and working through his shit was to do what his dad did to his mom.
Mm.
So,
Yeah. Wow.
in a
And
nutshell,
that's so much more, but we only have a certain time frame for this platform. But I honor you for, sharing your story, and I thank you for sharing your story. Sometimes we go through things and it's hard to like be transparent and tell people like even a little snippet. So I commend you on that for your healing and for your strength today. And a little bit about my story. For those of you who kind of know, most people know already, but I witnessed my mom actually being murdered in front of me. But before the murder, there were plenty of instances of domestic violence. Her having to escape and run out the house with no shoes and like night clothes on and like running. We living in the country, so the next neighbor's house is like 5-10 minutes up the road in a car. So I don't even know how far she had to run to go get help. Like broken fingernails down to the skin, like just crazy things, black eyes, like her not only accepting the abuse but fighting back. Right. So we'll talk about the effects of that, like all of those things. Like, this is what childhood domestic violence is: growing up in an environment where you're seeing your parents being abused. And in your situation, it was your biological dad and mom, like both of your parents. For me, it was my mom and her boyfriend, which was not my father. But however, the side effects still go down to, like, it's still the same situation.
Yeah.
So, but yes, ma'am. So the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna talk about the effects of this, right? So, like, how do you think that experiencing that and seeing your parents, interact in that way, like, how did that affect you as a child going into adulthood?
As a child,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of seeds were planted.
Yes.
A
Mm-hmm.
lot. So, I mean, my um, eagerness to compare myself to other women or girls at the time, I should say. And I can say women because it didn't go away. Like, I was still in college and
Mm-hmm.
trying to be grown and still inclined to compare. Um, Being eager to please a man.
Mm. Come on now.
I felt like the only way to be happy is for me to have a man, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, he better be happy. Like, if he's angry or upset, oh my God, life is over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what else? And I think subconsciously it taught me to be like my mom in a nutshell. I can't put the words to the actual feelings and like my reality at the time because
Yeah.
it was convoluted. Like, it was so compiled with a lot of
Yeah.
toxic shit, or it could have been cultural things that nobody had any control over because we still was like in the hood, yo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on top of us being in the hood, we got this domestic violence thing going on. But at the end of it all, it taught me to survive.
Survive. Come on now.
It truly says, do what you got to do to mask any of your pain. There was no part of me that even wanted to touch something that made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean emotionally, because a man touching me was all right. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Not literally, but I do mean at that stage in my life growing up, I'm like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to have. And
Mhm.
it was toxic.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay. You finished. You got some more things, or that's
I got more, but I want to hear from you too.
okay. Okay. Well, I want to, like, reiterate what you were saying. So basically, I heard you say that your childhood domestic violence experience, like, taught you to compare yourself to other women, right? You had an eagerness to compare yourself to other women, eager to please a man. Like, your goal was to make sure he was happy and whole, honey. And if he won't happy, it was a problem. Okay. Only way to be happy is to have a man, right? And then subconsciously it taught you how to be like your mom, right? And then also I heard you say that in the end, basically it all taught you how to survive. Like, you had to build a survival mechanism, right? And basically your survival skill was to do what you got to do to master pain. Whatever that meant for you, that's what you had to do. Like, I'm going to do what I need to do regardless of
You got it.
I hear it. Okay, okay. So for me, because of how I saw my mom, like, in and out of relationships, and how, like, she would be with this person, he would leave like after the abuse, and then he would, like, come back a couple of days later, and then everything will be all good, and, like, we're gonna talk about the honeymoon phase, and everything was all hunky dory, as they say, and just, you know, flowers and roses, and then next thing you know, it happened again. And so that taught me, like I was sharing with you, like, that's what love really is. Like, if a man leaves and, like, he can't stay gone from me, like, that taught me that that's what love was, right? And
Yeah.
so in my healing journey, I'm like, that's toxic. Like, if someone can just so easily, like, leave you and with no regard to your emotions, your feelings, or your well-being, how much do they really care about you?
Right.
You know, how much do they really love you as much as they say they do? Your actions speak louder than your words, right? Also, because I saw my mom not only getting abused, but she was a fighter too. Like we fighting. Not no,
Mhm.
I'm just getting beat up. We fighting.
Yeah.
Like, so then that taught me, like, I'm gonna get you before you get me. Like,
Mhm.
so
Right.
when I tell people, like, I had an aggressive personality, they're like, oh, you like the person that smile all the time, goofy, happy, go
Mhm.
lucky. But in a relationship,
Yeah.
that's who I was. That's,
Mhm.
so it's like I'm not gonna take the disrespect or you putting your hands on me, because before you even, like, if I got to jump, I'm
Mhm.
about to come back with a swing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's how I was. That's what it taught me. It taught me aggressive behavior. It taught me toxic. Like, I didn't even know what a standard or a boundary was. Like, I would just let people do whatever they wanted to do, and as many times as they wanted to say, oh, I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. It was like, okay, I accepted that apology, thinking that things were going to change. And I just continued to stay and stay and stay.
Yeah.
Toxic relationships and situationships and whatever, whatever. So that's what it kind of, the effects, or what it taught me, from childhood on up into adulthood. Like, I've
Mhm.
recently, within like the past 5 6 7 years, just started learning some of these lessons. Like, I had to unlearn a lot of things so
Yeah.
that I can start my healing process, right?
But in order to unlearn, seriously, you got to dive into what you don't know.
Yes.
And you just touched on it.
Hmm.
Some of those phases of abuse, you talked about the honeymoon phase. It's
Hmm.
equivalent to the calm before the storm.
Come on now.
You have to acknowledge that, okay, we're good right now,
Hmm.
but it is coming.
Hmm.
That's when that tension builds up. It's the tension. That's stage two.
Hmm.
Stage three, the incident is going down. Y'all
Yes.
are going blow for blow, or not, or you just getting assaulted and
Hmm.
threatened and
Hmm.
abused in a
And
nutshell. And it's coming down after that because then we got the reconciliation phase.
yes, ma'am. Yes.
So you have to dive in to what you're already waist deep in or neck deep in. But
Mhm.
you can't like avoid these situations when it
Mhm.
comes time to like true healing for true healing. You have to own it, own your
Yes.
healing. And
Mhm.
this is not a blame game. This is your life that we're talking
Yes.
about.
Yes. Yes.
It's your life.
Yes. Yes, indeed. I love that. So I want to make sure y'all got that. She just talked about the cycles of abuse, right? So
Mhm.
she said the honeymoon phase, the tension building, the incident, and the reconciliation, right? So
Mhm.
during the honeymoon phase, love, you said that this is a time where it's like it's all good. It's
It's so
like,
warm. It's so
yeah, you feel,
welcoming.
yes,
He love me.
it's my boo thing.
That's my bae.
That's my game. Then the tension starts building up, right? So then it's the yelling, the
So
criticism.
where were you yesterday?
Yeah, like
I
the
thought I told
control.
you to be home at 8 o'clock. Like what was you
Yeah,
doing?
what was you doing? Who was you with?
Oh,
And
you was out with that bitch again.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't even rock with her like that. You will see that it's gradually going up. That's the
Hmm.
retention building. Go ahead, girl.
Hmm. And then we got the incident, right? Or the explosion, or what the
There we go.
attack, or
Mm-hmm.
the threats and the physical, emotional, sexual, whatever the assault
Mm-hmm.
or abuse is, right? So that's the incident. And then we move into the reconciliation. This is the part where,
I'm sorry. You know I ain't mean it.
come on
You
now.
know I love you, yo. I love the shit out of you, yo. You
You,
like this?
it
This
ain't
my
gonna
Oscar
happen
moment.
again. It ain't gonna happen again. I was
You ain't gonna
mad.
happen again. I changed. I'm going to the therapy. He went to therapy. Going to therapy to work on myself. I've been talking to the pastor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Probably ain't even made an appointment.
Sure
Uh-huh.
didn't.
So then that leads us into reasons why they stay. Look how this is, girl. I'm telling you, God is in the midst of this. Okay. Look, the reasons why they stay, right? Because if you really, because the honeymoon phase, that right there is the hook, line, and sinker. Like, they
Mhm.
give you their best self. Okay. It's
Absolutely.
like, this is the person that everybody else sees,
Hmm.
right? So when you start to, if you get to that point where you're like, you're gonna confide in someone and tell someone what's going on, they're like, really, John?
Mm-hmm.
You talking about John? The John I know?
Good
The
job.
John I know don't do that. Like,
Right.
that ain't, I don't know that John. And you're like,
I know
and
that, John.
yeah, I know that John. But then it's like, it's hard to even try to convince somebody that what you're trying to tell them is true, right? So this is why a lot of women who go through these situations don't even talk about it, because people
No.
judge,
Yeah.
okay? People criticize, people talk about you, and people don't believe you, right?
Yeah.
But y'all, whoever is watching this now, whoever tunes in later, this is a safe space. We're not judging you, we're not criticizing you, we're not here for none of that. We're here to provoke awareness and healing, okay? Because as you see, we have been where you were, right? We have been the person that witnessed it. We have been the person that has been like in the midst of it, like experiencing it. And we'll
Mhm.
get more into it later about, but yeah, so we've been on all different levels, right? So there's a way out. So that's all we're here to do, is to tell you that there's a way out. We're not here to
Right.
judge you, criticize you, or nothing, right? So now
Right.
that leads to, why do we stay?
So the number one reason that I believe, and I think even statistics say why they stay, is because it's dangerous to leave.
Come on now.
The abuser has nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
He will take your life and
Yes.
do nothing about, like, okay. Because why does he feel so confident about doing this? You have reported a number of times all these injuries.
Mm-hmm.
You've gone to the hospital. You've tried to talk to family. You've tried to talk to him. Nothing works. Even though what you reported was nothing but your truth. People don't take victims seriously,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yes.
And if you are a person of color, it's even worse.
Yes, it is.
Even worse.
Yes.
So that first reason why I feel that women stay is because it's dangerous. They want to live.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you gave me a statistic yesterday.
The
What?
incarceration.
Yes.
Yes. So 80% of the women who are incarcerated have at some point experienced domestic violence on whatever level, whether physical, emotional, sexual, at some point in their life. So that's 80% of the women who are incarcerated. So that's for sometimes murder, because they're trying to defend themselves, and it goes a
Mhm.
little too to the left. Sometimes it's domestic violence, and they're in there not for I'm sorry, not domestic violence, but assault. So because they were defending themselves, now they have an assault charge, or
Mhm.
they're being coerced to smuggle drugs or prostitute, or so many different things. But like 80% of those women have at some point experienced domestic violence.
Right. I think you said it yesterday and I got chills. Same thing happened today,
Mhm.
because also over 70% of domestic violence victims are murdered
Mhm.
by their abuser.
Yes, by their abuse. 70%.
Oh, it says over.
Over. Yeah.
That's
These
so
numbers are crazy. They're not like lowball, like it's millions and millions. And this is even with like transitional housing. So for those of you who do not know, I'm not only a life coach, but I am founder and CEO of Natalie's Place, which is we are a transitional housing program where we house women and their children who are victims of domestic violence, because most of the women who flee the homes, right? Because we're talking about reasons why they stay.
Yeah.
But like, if you leave and you can't sustain yourself, that is scary.
Right.
Like, you have 3 children, even if you have one, I'm not even going, even if you have one, the concern of a mother for their child, where are we going to sleep? What are we going to eat? Then this child still has to go to school, right? Because we're not just going to take them out of school, because
Right.
now that's a big red flag. And now it's like, now social services get involved, what is it, CPS, like all these
Mhm.
factors become, get into your business. And so you want to make sure that the child still goes to school. So you might end up sleeping in your car if you have a car.
Right.
You can't really trust your family members, because then they might tell the person where you are, or they might not even want to help you, because it's like, you don't bring that drama to my house.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, So many different things that come into play when you have to consider, do I leave or do I stay,
Right.
right? So, and then those are just like the surface things. When we go deep, because after that honeymoon phase, we talked about the tension building phase. This is
Mhm.
the phase where they break you down. The criticism, the yelling, the cursing you, the backbite, like you're nothing. I don't even know
Mhm.
why I'm with you.
Right.
But then they apologize and say, "Well, I didn't mean to say that. I was mad, girl. I didn't mean that." So then
Mhm.
you try to brush it off, right? But
Right.
literally, you still land there at night, like, "Well, dang, did he really mean that? Like,
He meant it.
yeah, did he really mean that I was a hoe? Like, am I?" Like, then you start. He says it so much, you start to question yourself, and then it goes from questioning to believing it. So
So
now,
that's gaslighting.
come on now, come on, teach these terms, coach. Yes.
Right. When you have, and this doesn't have to come from an abusive partner, by the way.
Yes, that's true.
People across the world gaslight.
Yes,
They
yes.
will say things so that they win in this argument,
Uh-huh.
and they make you believe or question what you know to be true. Like, I know I saw you at the bar
Come
with
on.
this chick.
Yes.
Yo, you've been delusional for a very long time. They gonna say some shit like that, and I'm like, damn, I know I'm a little crazy, but I
Yeah.
know I saw what I saw. Maybe I'm tripping. So then
Mhm.
you pull back because like
Mhm.
he is convincing you that what you saw
Is not what you
is
saw.
not what you saw.
Mhm.
Even if it's a text message,
Come on
it could
now.
be anything. It could
Mhm.
be him riding in the car with the woman.
Yeah. That's I don't even know who you're talking about. You must have saw somebody. That's my cousin. That's it's a
You know how many
whole.
cars out here like mine? You sound stupid right now.
So then you start to really think you stupid. It's like,
Mhm.
well, dang, maybe then you start to question yourself, your decisions, your thought process. Like that's where it gets deeper, right? So then we talk about the effects of this, right?
Right.
So, what does that do in your adulthood, right? So, you're with this partner that you love and you cherish, and then they start to break you down and start to make you question who you are, make you have less of a self esteem and love for yourself, and just like broken down, right? Like, what does that do? Like, how do you, and then even like, the experience of the childhood domestic violence, and now even in your adulthood you're like emulating the things that you saw as a child. How does this all affect your everyday life as an adult?
Girl. We going there this week or we gonna save that?
No, we gonna this is today. Like this is where we talk about like the abuser versus the victim, right? So
Okay.
yes, ma'am. So like a lot of times, so we'll become the victim, or it's like, you know what, before you get me, I'm about to get you. And now you become the abuser.
Yeah.
So it's not always the other person. So this is where the men come into play, right?
Mhm.
So instead of it just being this one-sided equation, men and women are both victims and abusers, right? So
Users.
I don't want anybody to think that we just down talking men, and no, we're here for all of y'all.
Right.
Because it's domestic violence awareness, not
Mhm.
women's domestic violence or men, it's domestic violence, period. Okay.
Mhm.
So a lot of times we go through these situations and we have these experiences, and then it's like you either gonna break down and bow down and just be the victim, or sometimes you're gonna be the abuser. And
You gonna
sometimes
fight
in a
back.
situation, sometimes it's both. Sometimes you're not just being the abuser, but sometimes you're being victimized and you're gonna be the abuser.
But check this out. When you find yourself as the woman or the man, honestly, if y'all are like cycling these cycles together, do know y'all gonna share this gaslighting trait.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are gonna love bomb each other because in that honeymoon phase, y'all are loving on each other. Y'all are both acting like everything is all good.
Mm-hmm.
The control
Come
and the
on now.
jealousy, it's gonna be reciprocated times two because it's two of y'all in this relationship. The way he feels about you being around other people, you're gonna find yourself saying some of them same old words. The
Mm-hmm.
way he might, I mean, she might feel about you going to the gym. You're gonna start saying the same stuff to her.
Mm-hmm.
Why you going out?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are fueling each other's fire,
Mm-hmm.
planting each other's seeds. We gotta pull the weeds, y'all.
Come on now. Come on.
And
Yes.
that is my thing. I am a cleansing coach, but I
Yes.
literally mean it, y'all. I literally mean it. When the seeds are planted, you don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know that these things are there.
Mm-hmm.
You just begin to embody them. And
Yes.
one day you're gonna wake up and be like, damn, how did I get here?
How did I get here?
How the fuck did it happen? No, well, that's what I said to myself. Sorry,
Well,
y'all.
look, like my friend Brian Ellis said, that's look, we don't y'all who the saints and the ones who ain't like don't get offended by a few curse words. Like Miss Natasha done already gave a disclaimer on her page. Like that's just who she is, all right. And I'm not here to change nobody.
But you know what? I feel like that's why we balance each other out. She gonna bring the church. I'm bring everything else.
Yes, you know
But
what I'm
it's working. It's working.
Yes, yes, it's
So
all
yeah.
working together for our good. Okay,
Yeah.
girl, I love it. I love it. So, y'all, we done been on here for 45 minutes. We're not gonna hold y'all too much longer. We have talked about, we have given you all facts about domestic violence. We've talked about childhood domestic violence. We talked about gaslighting.
Love bombing.
We talked about love bombing. Um, what else? What else we talked about?
Some of the reasons why women
The
stay. We
reason
have
why
more. We'll get to
women
the rest of it.
stay. Yes, we talked about the cycles of abuse. So if you guys don't like do anything else, like if you're catching this live right now, go ahead and like rewind it, catch the replay, because these are terms that people just throw out all the time, right? And then it's like you don't really understand what they are. But we've given you all real life experiences and knowledge based information to go together hand in hand so you can get an understanding of what these terms mean and what they will actually look like in a relationship or in your life period, right?
Mhm.
So we're going to go head on and like close things out. So before we end, love, give us your title again and the name of your business and tell the people where they can find you.
I am your cleansing coach, Natasha Lancaster, CEO and founder of Brown Beauties. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook too. I can't remember my Facebook handle, but Instagram is going to be Brown underscore Beauties underscore LLC.
Come on now. I
And if
love
you
it.
want to visit the website,
Mhm.
sign up for a free consultation. You can do that as well at brownbeauties.org.
brownbeauties.org. Y'all better go ahead and check her out. Look at, I'm a type of person where I'm gonna stalk you a little bit before I actually like buy your
You
services or
should.
so y'all go ahead and follow her pages, look and see what she's about. I'm only gonna connect with people that I support. And so I love her mission, I love her purpose, I love everything about it, like her cleansing bar, like girl, all of that. Okay. And so I am the detox coach, Coach Devonna Boone. This is Soul Work Saturday. I am founder and CEO of Natalie's Heart Coaching and Consulting. So I am here to help women avoid and heal from toxic situations and relationships, to empower them to reclaim their power back and to ultimately end this cycle of toxicity. Okay. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram as Coach Devonna Boone or just Devonna Boone, Devona. Okay. Also, if you would like to schedule a free consultation, a free 30-minute consultation, my scheduling link is on all platforms. So if you go on Instagram or Facebook, you can just click on my little bio and the scheduling link will be in there. Or if that's too much for you and you're like me and you're like, I'm not tech savvy, I don't know how to even find a link, I don't know, just DM me, love, and I'll send you the link and we can go from there. All right. I like to meet people where they are. Okay. So this has been good. I love y'all to life. We are definitely going to be back next Saturday so we can end the month of October with more facts about domestic violence, because again, as I keep saying, we want to provoke awareness that will
Mhm.
lead to healing, okay? Because you cannot heal from what you will not expose. All
Yeah.
right. So I hope this has been beneficial to you all. If it has, if you have learned something, if you felt something in your shanana, as if you felt something, if you feel as though you've learned something, please like, comment, or share. We appreciate all the love, because y'all know, we're here to share knowledge, and the only way we can do that is if the people get to see it, right? If it reaches the people who it needs to reach. So y'all share it, even if you don't want to share it on your page, send it to somebody in their inbox. Like, get this information out to people, because as we have said, y'all know these numbers are high. So that means if it is not you, it is somebody that you are in connection with, whether family, friend, or foe. Okay, so the numbers are real, the stats are real, so domestic violence is real. All right, we've been on here 50 minutes, y'all, and we are out. We will see you guys next Saturday, same time, same place. Mwah! Thank you,
You guys.
Natasha. I appreciate you, love.
You're welcome. Love
Okay.
you.
Bye.